It's basic season, and the only problem I have with basic season is there's not enough chocolate. If you're like me, you love pumpkin flavored things, but there's only so many pumpkin flavored things you can eat before you're craving chocolate. So today we're gonna make a marbled pumpkin bread, and it's gonna have some chocolate in it. And this cake is my new favorite fall time dessert because it's low calorie and high protein. It has the exact same macros of protein bars, so instead of eating protein bars, I could eat slices of this cake. We need pumpkin, 100% pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. The calories and macros on this are fantastic. 40 calories for half a cup. The only ingredient you should see is pumpkin. If there's extra stuff like sugar, then it's pumpkin pie filling, and it's gonna have way more calories and not be macro friendly, so find this stuff. Open this up.
One eternity later.
And this stuff is a cheat code for baking, especially high protein desserts. It keeps things so moist. I'm gonna start by putting 250 grams, a lot of this, a little bit over a cup of pumpkin puree into a bowl. And then some Greek yogurt to add even more protein. Pumpkin doesn't have a lot of protein, but Greek yogurt does. A bunch of vanilla extract. I love this stuff, so I'm going hard. My nemesis, cracking eggs, but I've been practicing, watch. I can do it with one hand now. No shell too. Look, no shell. I promise I did not pick out the shells off of camera.
Not the cap.
See, you just, no, whoops, one shell, just one shell in there. I got it out. I like to mix the eggs in a separate bowl before adding it to the wet ingredients because I hate streaks of egg whites. So I want to give these time and mix them really, really well to make sure everything is incorporated before I add it into this. Now mix all the wet ingredients up really well until it's all incorporated. Whoa, that's orange. Set this aside. The first dry ingredient, you guessed it, it's just regular flour. We need 75 grams of this. This is gonna provide all the structure for the cake. And although I'm using self-rising, I also wanna add a little bit of baking soda and a pinch of baking powder. I'm adding more baking soda and baking powder because I like fluffy cake. Baking powder reacts with heat, so when this is baked in the oven, the heat will create bubbles. Baking soda reacts with acid, so when we combine the wet and the dry, the Greek yogurt has acid, it's gonna create bubbles. Both of them combined, we're getting a fluffy freaking cake. We want just a small touch, 5 grams of coconut flour. You can leave this out if you don't have coconut flour, but I like it because it adds a small little tiny amount of sweetness, a nice flavor, but more importantly, it's more absorbent than regular flour and it creates a crumbly texture. And so this cake will have a little bit of a better crumble if we use a little bit of coconut flour. Pinch of salt. This is my favorite sweetener for baking, erythritol. Why? Because it has the same consistency of sugar. It's granulated. Stevia does not have this. So using stevia instead of this will change your results. We need 40 grams. Just kidding, 45 grams. Usually I'm sweet enough, but not today. We need 5 extra grams. And also, a pack of sweetener. This is very condensed. It's very sweet, not a lot of volume. We don't need more dry ingredients. We just want a little bit more sweetness. That's why I'm using a packet of sweetener. You know I love chocolate. And instead of just using regular old cocoa powder, I'm using Cacao Bliss by Earth Echo Foods. The reason I love this so much is because there are 10 superfoods snuck into this cacao powder. It tastes so good, and you would never know it's so healthy for you. One of my favorite parts about using this is it helps me get turmeric in a really tasty way. I've been having turmeric my whole life. My mom, since I was a little kid, would force feed it to me because it boosts your immunity. If I was sick, I would have turmeric, I would feel better. If I wasn't sick, I would have turmeric to not get sick. It's great, except it tastes so freaking bad. Like, if you just have turmeric on its own, it's not that good. This has turmeric in it. It also has black pepper in it. When black pepper is combined with turmeric, it increases the bioavailability of turmeric. My mom would do this all the time. She would crack a little bit of black pepper in some turmeric and milk, stir it together, put a ton of sugar in there, which wasn't great, and give it to me because the sugar was the only way I would drink it. Except now, this has monk fruit in it. So the chocolate plus the sweetness from the monk fruit, I'm not getting all the calories from sugar, but I'm getting my turmeric in a really, really tasty way. So instead of using boring old cocoa powder, I'm gonna use this, and it's gonna just make this entire cake way healthier. So if you want superfoods snuck into your baking along with an amazing chocolate flavor, get some Cacao Bliss. I'll leave a link in the description down below and use code Rahul for a special discount. I know I preach baking with a whey casein blend most of the time because casein helps retain moisture in baked goods and whey is just way too dry on its own. But guess what? There's so much freaking pumpkin in this that we don't need anything else to absorb more moisture. So just whey protein powder to get the fluffiness and the rise that we want. 50 grams of vanilla whey protein powder. I know it's a lot, but this thing is gonna be so moist, I promise. I'm sorry I said the M word, please don't get triggered. And it is basic season, so a fat sprinkle of pumpkin pie. Spice. Mix, mix, mix. Yeah, I want more. Give the wet one more quick stir, and then all the wet goes into the dry. We want to mix this really lightly, really gently. Do not overmix, do not go crazy. This is not the time to get a forearm workout. You get that tonight. Just keep folding on top of each other. The more we mix this, the more it's gonna be like bagels. or pizza. Too chewy, not fluffy. We want this super light and fluffy. And there's always flour stuck to the bottom, so get out of that. And when it's nice and mixed, take half your batter and put it back into the bowl that the wet ingredients were in. You don't have to be perfect, just estimate it. And then crack open your Cacao Bliss. There's a scooper in here, and add 1.5 scoops, which is gonna be 12 grams. Also add 2 packets of sweetener into this chocolate layer and fold all this together. I love how the Cacao Bliss also has cinnamon in there. Another ingredient I absolutely love, and it's just gonna add to the warm, cozy feeling of eating this dessert. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of black cocoa powder into this. This doesn't add any chocolate flavor at all. It just gives it a really dark color. Time to make marbles. Silicone baking pan, because nothing ever sticks. Start with vanilla, I'm kidding, pumpkin layer. The bottom, and then a spoonful of chocolate right on top. And then more pumpkin, and then more chocolate. And then pumpkin, chocolate, a little smashing. Smash this down to get everything even. And then take a knife and just swirl. (325 degrees Fahrenheit). It's gonna take a while. 1 hour later, let it cool for 30 minutes. I'm back from a walk. Big 10,000 steps a day guy. Okay, this has been resting for an hour, time to cut. Nothing ever sticks, I love this pan. Ooh, perfect. It smells so freaking good in here. You wanna use a serrated knife because it's like a saw. You wanna saw at the bread, not just chop down. The big moment. Oh, the swirl. I'm so happy. Look at that. It's beautiful. Check out my cookbook, link in the description. It has over 100 recipes and I'm constantly updating it, so when you buy it once, you get all future updates for free. Plenty of desserts in there, meal prep recipes, savory recipes. It's gonna make dieting, losing weight, and fat loss a cheat code and so much easier. Look how fluffy this is and so soft on the inside. It breaks apart perfectly. This is so freaking good. The pumpkin layer is super sweet. The chocolate layer adds that nice bitterness that you want. And then when you bite it and you get both layers, you can literally taste the chocolate and the pumpkin and the cinnamon and the seasonings. 820 calories and 73 grams of protein in the entire loaf. That's crazy. But each slice, if you cut it into 8 slices, 100 calories, 9 grams of protein. Means you can eat 2 slices. You're getting 200 calories, 18 grams of protein. That's comparable to a protein bar. Except this, does this have the texture of a protein bar? Absolutely not. I'm happy. It's basic season. I get my pumpkin in, but I also get my chocolate in. And you know I can't live without chocolate. If you want to pick up Cacao Bliss, link in description down below. Use code RAHUL for a special discount and make yourself some basic food.